What's Chirpin' Crickets? This is Kim from Kim Takes On, here for another show this week, along with my co-producer, Terrence the Wonder Duck. As always, Terrence says hi and hopes you're having a terrific week. So here we are at the end of September, and hopefully the temperature will stay like 65 or lower. That would be nice. I'm not a spring-summer person. I don't do sunlight well. It's kind of like the end of a Christopher Lee Dracula movie. There's lots of screaming and swearing and bursting into flames and things like that. But since it is almost October, you know what that means. It's almost spooky season, or as I like to call it, the most wonderful time of the year. Don't let Andy Williams and all that stuff fool you. Halloween is the most wonderful time of the year because there's parties and there's candy and there's magic and there's candy and there's pumpkins and there's candy and there's candy. I have a one-track mind. It's easy to get lost on it and it's covered in dirt. Ta-da. But seriously, I love Halloween. Halloween is my season. I just love it. And Halloween is also a time for parties. And parties bring costumes, or at least the best Halloween parties should bring costumes. If you feel comfortable enough to go out in public and stuff like that, and you're all, vaccinated and stuff, we all have to still be careful. For some people, though, trying to find a costume can be something of a chore. I've always been kind of like, if you just show up in a regular outfit and people are like, what's your costume? What are you supposed to be? You give them the deadest, dead-eyed stare you've got and go, I'm a serial killer. They look like everybody else. Want to see what's in my trunk? So you'll either be the hit of the party or they'll call the cops and ask you to leave. As long as you get a drink first, right? Anyway, the other idea I've always thought would be a funny idea, if you just show up in a regular outfit and people are like, what's your costume? What are you supposed to be? I'm a werewolf. Moon's not up yet. At least I thought it was funny. But since this is a show where we try and talk mostly about music when I'm not ranting about wrestling, sorry about that if that wasn't your bag my last show, but I really needed to get that off my chest. I figured what I'd talk about on this show is ideas with a musical bent for costumes. And starting with costumes for just one person. And because I had the idea of doing it for, like costumes for a couple, costumes for a group, but we'll start with one person. And as far as I'm concerned, you cannot go wrong with the king of rock and roll, Elvis Presley. Now, the cool thing about dressing up like Elvis is that you can have a bunch of people that show up at your party that are dressed as Elvis, and they're all of Elvis. There's the Elvis when he got started. There's Elvis during his Hollywood period. There's Elvis during the jumpsuit period. We're not going to, there's Elvis in the later jumpsuit period. And that's all I'm going to say about that because I'm not going to body shame because that's mean. But there's so many choices that you could do just being Elvis Presley. I mean, my personal favorite choice is Elvis from the 68 comeback special. Wow. But you have to be really well done. You have to be really well in good shape to pull that one off. For the ladies out there, I think a terrific costume would be Janis Joplin, who is one of my favorite singers. I think that, just long hair, maybe a wig if you don't have long hair, big glasses, couple of loose feather boas or like long scarves or something like that, and more of a hippie outfit. And whammo, you've got Janis Joplin. I think that would be a really cool idea for an outfit. If you have a really favorite singer that you feel like, I think I could do a good job dressed as them, I definitely think you could give it a try and stuff like that. One place that I think that a lot of people don't immediately think of when it comes to costume ideas is country music. If you go with like what I think they used to call the countrypolitan look, where you had like a lot of spangles and a lot of brightness to the clothes and stuff like that, and big musical symbols and things on your outfits and stuff like that, jackets and things like that. That was a look, and I think it would be really cool for a party. A couple of country people I could think of that would make a really cool costume would be Johnny Cash. I mean, can't go wrong with the Man in Black, right? If you're in a couple, you could be Johnny and June Carter Cash. Then you're both doing the whole walk the line thing. I think that'd be kind of neat. Of course, there's always Dolly Parton, the lovely Dolly. Hank Williams or Hank Williams Jr. if you got more of the beard thing and you go around going, "Are you ready for some football?" If you're a Mystery Science Theater fan, you also got that joke. You're welcome. Laser Blast, check it out if you've never seen that, Misty. There's so many people you can choose from that. Jimi Hendrix. If you really want to go all out there, if you own a guitar, that would be really a good one. It would be Jimi Hendrix if you can really if you're tall and stuff like that and it really works out for you and you think that you can pull off that look. Obviously, I don't really think I need to say this, but don't do anything that is going to make other people go, "Are you serious right now?" You know the kind of stuff I mean. But I think that, there's a ton of people. Alice Cooper. Alice Cooper would be a really awesome person to do as a costume. If you have an accordion or someone who has an accordion, I think, a curly wig and a Hawaiian shirt and your Weird Al Yankovic, I don't think that's a bad one myself. When it comes to, let me see, some other ladies that would be, I think Whitney Houston would be another one. Madonna, or I don't know about Madonna so much as I'd be more into Lady Gaga, because as long as you don't do the meat dress, don't do the meat dress, especially if the person who's hosting the party has a dog, don't wear the meat dress. That's a bad idea. I don't know where you'd get I do remember one outfit that she wore that was I think it was a coat, and it was all made of Kermit the Frog plushies, and I was kind of like, okay, I'm 50% horrified and 50% intrigued. I don't know. I was like, that would be a great Halloween party costume, I think, but that's just my own taste, I suppose. When it comes to a couple, I think there's quite a few people, like I mentioned, June Carter Cash and Johnny Cash, Sonny and Cher. Sonny and Cher works if the lady's taller than the guy, it works better, I think. Or if she doesn't mind wearing shoes that make her taller. I'm not going to ask a guy to kind of hunch down all night long. That's kind of mean. But you can also have, do something where it's like if, you got a friend who's the same gender as you, you can do another duet, like, duo, like, you want to really go far back, do like the Everly Brothers. Or the Righteous Brothers, if you can sing that well. That one might be a little hard unless you can really sing that well, and you have to wear like the kind of low sweater things that they used to wear and stuff like that, because the kind of casual sweater look with a mic, you could do that, I suppose. You could probably do this. There's a couple that I think are a little too obscure. Somebody might recognize you going as Peaches and Herb if you start singing Reunited. I don't really know. This one I liked simply because I liked this group. If you have 3 people and you're all dudes and you all have guitars, you can all get some suits and be the Kingston Trio. Look it up. If you don't know who it is, Google it. We learned a bunch of their songs when I was at school. When I was in, 5th or 6th grade, we learned a whole bunch of those songs. They were really into teaching us folk songs back then, and I don't know why, but you can sing all the Kingston Trio stuff, and then they won't need to have a band at the party. It's you. And when you get to a group, obviously there are tons of groups out there that have 4 members or more. If you have enough people to be cool in the gang, then go for it. But I think you're a whole party unto yourself at that point. But if you have, you have enough people to be the Jackson 5, or the Jacksons, if you want to be the older Jacksons. You could also, or if you just have 4 people, you can be the Beatles. And you can be every iteration. You can do with the Beatles, you can really have fun, because the Beatles, obviously, they had several different looks throughout their time as, the music icons that they were. You had the original kind of look they had with the suits and stuff like that, and then you had the later stuff, where it was all more hippie and psychedelic, and then you had like the stuff from the Magical Mystery Tour, which was just what the hell, and of course the cover of Sgt. Pepper, with the bright outfits and stuff like that. So my idea is that you could do something as the Beatles, where you've got the 4 people, and you could have them all dressed as the same era, or you could have them all dressed as different eras. Like you have one person wearing the original, outfits, like the Ed Sullivan Show outfits, and somebody else wearing the more hippie stuff, and somebody else has the walrus costume, and somebody else has one of the Sgt. Pepper costumes, or have 2 and 2, have 2 people do one style and 2 people do the other, which might get a little confusing. I mean, you might want to just have everybody wearing, the same era, just so that you don't confuse people or whatever. Personally, if I was asked, well, what would you pick? I would pick the Sgt. Pepper era for myself, if I had 3 friends and we're all deciding to do something. I mean, obviously, if you want to be gender swapped, you can go for it. Or if you're a girl and you want to run around wearing a mustache all night, that's entirely up to you. I've had to do it. I've had to wear men's makeup for doing shows and stuff in college. Kiss is another band that you could have a lot of fun with, assuming that you don't get sued. Sorry, Gene. No offense meant, Mr. Simmons. Please don't be mad at me. But Kiss has a lot of different. There's the original 4 members of the band, where you had Space Ace, the Demon, the Catman, and Starchild. Then you had the later version where they switched out Peter Criss's Catman and brought in Eric Carr's Fox. And also later on, when Ace had left the band, they brought in Vinnie Vincent with the Ankh Warrior look. So you could kind of mix and match and do what you want with that. And I think that would be or you could do Kiss without the makeup, because they had a very distinct look when they took the makeup off. If you look at videos for like Tears Are Falling or Lick It Up or something like that, you could do that as well, and it would just be as cool. Or you could always just have 4 people with napkins wrapped like right here, and people are like, wrapped around their face, and they're like, where are you supposed to be? We're Kiss in the 70s when they went to go out without makeup on. Haha. Sorry, just an idea. Some things you have to get a little bit more, there's like I said, there's a ton of bands out there that you could just, and if you want to just be the lead singer of a band, you could do that too. Freddie Mercury, David Lee Roth, especially David Lee Roth, considering the amount of acrimony that was between the members of Van Halen. You might just want to do, dress up as David Lee Roth and not bother with the rest of the guys or something like that. Or you could always do Van Hagar, I suppose, and have, dress as Sammy Hagar or whatever. Personally, if I was going to dress as Sammy Hagar, I would probably dress as the Sammy Hagar from I Can't Drive 55, because that was a better outfit. Just my opinion. Like I said, there's a ton of different ideas. There's you just watch an hour of classic MTV, because goodness knows you don't want to watch the crap that's on it now, and just go nuts. Just find something that just speaks to you and says, yeah, I want to be that person for a night, and just go nuts, go crazy. If you like my suggestions, if you have any other suggestions that you'd like to bring up, absolutely please do. PlatinumRoselle@yahoo.com. Please click the like button on this video and like and subscribe to all of our videos and stuff like that and all that good stuff. And I hope that my little how-to here has given you some ideas for costumes and stuff if you're going to a party this Halloween or if you're planning a party this Halloween. And so that's going to do it for this little quick show for this week. So I'm Kim. This is Terrence. And we are both wishing you a wonderful week and keep rocking.